Gotta make it. Is it going? Is that roller coaster not going? Wow. I still love this level though. When looking at a level like Romani Ranch earlier this year, it got me thinking of other games confined to such a strict time limit, and with spooky times on the horizon, I figured I'd talk about a game early within the Xbox 360's life that had a great evolving ecosystem within its 72-hour time limit it put on the player and its environment, Dead Rising. Capcom's other zombie-filled franchise whose first entry was such a big deal upon release. I mean, look at how many zombies you can get on the screen. It's pretty scary, right? Throughout your adventures uncovering the mystery within the Willamette Mall in Colorado as Frank West, you meet a colorful cast of characters within the gigantic halls and stores within these walls of capitalism worship. But one plaza has easily some of my favorite scoops, survivors, and psychopaths. That plaza is the subject of today's episode of I Love This Level, the show where I break down my favorite set pieces, levels, and sequences within a game, it being the fantastical and children's dreamland, Wonderland Plaza. Now, unlike any other level I've covered in this show, while it's a set piece similar to Romani Ranch, the game's design makes the level more dynamic across its 3-day time limit. In the case of Wonderland Plaza, it is the set piece where the scoops interact with the level in so many unique, fantastic ways, right down to its first one. The other great thing I love about Wonderland Plaza is how well it juxtaposes the whole cute scenery, graphic content ratio. The crowd of zombies around this giant, fluffy-looking wonderland is hilarious to me. The first scoop takes advantage of that juxtaposition beautifully with Adam, a
killer clown
who has thrown the mall's roller coaster out of control. After fighting what is a pretty alright boss fight in hindsight, you get easily one of the best weapons, especially early game, the mini chainsaw. After stopping the roller coaster and meeting another maintenance worker, Greg Simpson, he tells you he knows a shortcut to the security room, a godsend, given it saves you from entering the park in the middle of the mall and dodging the Giant Limp Bizkit parade. Before following him through, you should swing by Sir Book-A-Lot though, and pick up some lost tourists, Shinji Kitano and Yu Tanaka, on a scoop that is the only one that requires the use of a book to complete. A fun integration of that mechanic into the game that can give you some fun boosts the more you experiment with it. This shortcut alone, though, makes Wonderland one of the most viable points in the overworld and is pretty useful throughout a playthrough. While the plot unravels more around you on the second day, you have another boss waiting for you along with the opportunity to save 8 people at once within Wonderland Plaza, which is an achievement in at least the 360 version. This starts in the form of the Lovers and Hanging by a Thread scoops, 2 pairs of people with their own challenges. In Lovers, Ross Folk and Tanya Waters are held up in a shoe store and Ross is severely injured. If obliging Ross's request for a gun, he then kills himself and Tanya will not leave his side. However, offering to carry him back gives you 2 survivors. After a while following that, you can find Sally Mills and Nick Evans nearby who are hanging by a thread. 2 survivors relatively easy to save. Just kill the zombies beneath them and throw something light at them to make them fall. A touch that I do really enjoy. A trip to Lovely Fashion House during this afternoon after that also sets off the scoop Above the Law, a mission where you need to defeat Jo Slade. She is a police officer who is holding 4 women hostage. Kay Nelson, Lily Deacon, Kelly Carpenter, and Janet Starr are all tied to chairs in the store, and it's up to you to defeat Jo before she tases them all to death. Jo is a boss fight that can be tough if you can't dodge her bludgeons and handgun shots, but doing so and leading everyone back to Paradise Plaza through that beautiful shortcut becomes an incredibly tense sequence, given you don't want anybody to die. And when getting back to Paradise Plaza at this time of the day, also starts the cult plot, which makes Paradise Plaza even more hard to get through. Even on the last day, while the mall continues to devolve into madness, you can still find some great scoops in Wonderland Plaza. The Psychopath Paul is tossing bombs and Molotovs at the beginning of the day. Another interesting psychopath, Paul, hits heavy because of his explosives, but he's a psychopath you can actually save. Doing so is necessary to hear all of the potential radio calls as well, but it's always important to photograph Paul's crotch on fire before rescuing him. There's also Leroy McKenna, a sick man who definitely doesn't look like he'll live to see the sequel, and Susan Walsh, a woman left behind you see on the giant soccer ball surrounded by zombies. It's another great visual with that juxtaposition. These survivors are once again so easy to save because of that fantastic shortcut that has been a treasure this whole time. While not as important in the grand plot with no main scoops taking place in the area, Wonderland Plaza is still a personal favorite slice of the survival horror classic for me. It's not alone though. The sniper's nest potential in the entrance plaza leads to some of my favorite fights in the game's story and psychopath-wise. The imagery and Easter eggs in Colby's Movie Land are iconic, and while it can be a chore to get through, the maintenance tunnels are still pretty impressive to me to this day. Even though it isn't quite the spooky times yet, I hope you've enjoyed this warm-up. Next month, my level breakdown is going to be a bit deeper, but I'm excited to talk about it nonetheless. With that being said, we're going to conclude this episode of I Love This Level. Did you like it? Do you love Dead Rising? Let me know some of your favorite parts of that game in the comments down below. If you did like this review, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdery content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons if you want to join their ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community. It's linked in the description. On screen now are various playlists for you to check out. One for this show, if this is your first level breakdown you've seen of mine and you want to see me do other levels. Something else YouTube thinks you'll like if you like this particular video. My playthrough of Dead Rising I did forever ago on the channel, and the subscribe button. Be sure to click one of those to continue your adventure and ring the bell if you click the subscribe button. But I'm gonna go. Thank you again so very much for watching. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.